I'm going to read I like this it's kind of like a quote book. I'm going to read this to get started. It's Wisdom for Winners. It's kind of taken from the Napoleon Hill Foundation. On page 131, it says, money is nothing more or less than a result of creating value in the lives of other people. So if you want to do 250 deals, you want to do 5 deals, you want to do your first deal, it's just a matter of creating value and then being able to clearly articulate your value proposition and what makes you different than everybody else. So I'm excited for this group as we get started. I know some people are jumping in, all that kind of stuff. I do have some like housekeeping stuff for like what this is going to be, all the value that's going to be here, where replays are going to live, where I'm going to have a Slack community, right, where you guys can ask questions, and the group is always going to be evolving, right? So you have to be. So as far as like some housekeeping stuff, let me throw this in there. All right, so I know some people are newer to EXP. Some people are just getting started with EXP. Some people are on the onboarding process. Some people are just checking things out. You guys, there are some people in here that aren't a part of EXP, but they've bought in the cash cow, or they're just a part of the systems and all that kind of stuff too. So everybody is welcome. So I made a Loom for some people that are just getting started with EXP. I'm gonna give you all what I call, like, it's not show notes, but notes for my Zoom, right? I made them last night just to stay on top of things. But this first one is basically access to all the EXP tools. So if you have any agents that are onboarding and any agents that are just getting started, or maybe you're just not familiar with some stuff, maybe you want to know more about co-sponsor, maybe you want to know about all the different CRM systems we have access to, maybe you want to know about all the stuff. So anyways, that's going to be in the tools. And I made a quick video that just overlaid all that stuff. Also, as far as like Slack group for EXP, EXP's kind of moved from Workplace to Slack. And so this is a really good place for you guys to be able to get plugged in. So if you want to get a hold of your broker, use Slack. You can call them on Slack. I message brokers all through when we were onboarding different agents from all over the country. I was talking to the California broker, the Oregon broker, Arizona broker, all these different brokers from around the country. And I was getting like answers like within the same days. I love Slack for that reason. You can get answers like pretty quickly. And I say same day, but I mean like within a couple hours, sometimes like 30 minutes. So, which is awesome. So if you missed last week, this is just a highlight of last week. So I'm going to give you the Loom link for that. And I'm going to give you guys all this at the end in one place, so you have it. I just don't want to. If I give you all the show notes, then you guys will just skip ahead and all that stuff. But this is basically all of the. How do I say this? It's the questions for clarity. I think that was really good for people just to get clarity. It's hard to move fast when you're not clear, and so it takes about 45 minutes to maybe 90 minutes if you really sit there and go through all the questions. But you change your questions, you change your life, and so the first 10 questions are kind of like a recap of last year, kind of building momentum into this year. And then a lot of it is about getting clarity around like your offer, what makes you unique, what makes you different, just value. And so that link is in there as well. And then also planning out your 12 weeks, that's in there. And then I also have what else do I have in there? I have, for those who are looking to have a team, or you're doing a lot of volume, if you're doing over 30 deals, like this is something what you're going to want to keep track of, but it's basically keeping track of like your high leveraged activities, your KPIs, all of that stuff. And it kind of has, maybe I'll just show it to you real quick as I finish up this housekeeping stuff.
I don't even know what a KPI is.
Key performing indicator. So
Okay.
like if you're running like leads, you'd want to know like, hey, like for example, here's some of the stuff that this is mine for my webinar. Let me share my screen. This is not what you have, but this is just more in depth. This is from our webinar recently. So I can see like, okay, how much am I spending on my ad spend? What's my impressions? What's my clicks, landing page views, registration rate, cost per registration rate, cost per registration, live shows, what's the percentage of them, how many people stayed to the end for the pitch, and then I have to fill some of this out. What's the gross revenue from some of those? And then it's like how many buying units were there. And so this is more for like running a webinar to sell stuff, but I broke it down where, yeah. So once you put in certain numbers, it'll give you the percentages for like the cash cow and all that kind of stuff too. So like when you start running the cash cow, the new construction leads or the waterfront leads or whatever leads you're running, and you're running internet leads, it's good to be able to track like, okay, what's what? Because it's going to show you what's broken, right? So if my showing rate is below a 35%, then I need to do something different to get people to show up, right? So recently I made like 2 indoctrination videos that people are going to watch before they even jump on the webinar. So that's just like one simple example. But let me get to what I wanted to show you. Yay, coaching. But the video I gave you shows you that. Okay, cool. Let me share this. So this will be good for you to do with like even your VAs, administrative team. This is for anybody that's a part of your world. If you run a team, I encourage you guys to run this meeting weekly. You're not necessarily putting in all your numbers. You're just putting in the numbers that you're in charge for, and then your team's putting in the numbers that they're in charge for, right? So it gives you kind of like your weekly agenda. Like it's usually like a 45-minute to 60-minute meeting. But one word open, like what's your win? Review your one-page plan so everybody's focused on like what their goals are. You review the scoreboard. You go over discussion, what's working, what's not working. You review like any reviews or comments or feedback or support tickets, and then you book reviews, like book review, meaning like if you're reading a book as a team, like, hey, what were some of the highlights from that book, right? That spend the last 10 minutes on that. So this is really good for like team building. If you wanted to grow a team, or if it's just you, it's still good to build the practice of doing stuff like this. And more importantly, just to know your numbers. So here's your one page. This isn't your 12 week. This is just your one page. So it has like all the big stuff, right? And then it has a breakdown of like customer surveys, number of referrals, what's your CAC, number of business development activities, number of AI leads, Facebook lead, bomb videos, appointment set, multiple offers, cash offer strategies, letters, mailers, all the different pieces, right? And then it tracks it per week. And then you have certain numbers that you want to hit. And so it's not so much like if you're like, hey, I have a ISA and they need to make 100 calls a day. Yes, a VA can fill out most of this stuff for you, right? So you're really just going in, and maybe your focus is like, okay, maybe you really want to make sure you keep track of your CAC, so your customer, like cost to acquire a customer, and you want to keep track of like maybe business development activities, which would be like creating an SOP so that your VA can actually fill this out appropriately. So anything that you do, you should be able to just create a loom and then delegate that out to somebody else to be able to do it. But once you do it once, you shouldn't like do it again. And then you should be like, what's working, what's not working. So if you're running leads, or you're running a golden letter, or you're running a newsletter, and you don't know your open rate, or you don't know some of these things, then it's hard to figure out what's working or what's not working. So, and the real focus of this is just like, hey, let's start with one thing and then we can move to the next, right? And then monthly, this is like kind of going over monthly goals. So this is all in that link that I gave you guys at the end. It gives you ability to make your own copy of this. So there is that. Okay. All right. Few other house cut. I wanted to throw this in there, the chat, one big fire. So Brent Gove is doing a great event coming up in Cabo. I know some of you guys already got your ticket, but there's the link for that. If you guys are wanting to get warm and get around some winners and get around just like the right people in our company, this is a great event to get to. I definitely encourage you to start looking at your flights, your tickets, and booking it. Bring your spouse, bring your friends. This is also a great place to bring agents as far as like just discovering like what does our world look like. So this is also a great thing to be a part of. And so we're what, almost we're about 2 months out. So it's coming up quick. It'll be here quick. If you wait 3 weeks, you'll feel like you're behind. So definitely start looking at that stuff now. I know they book out every single year. So I think that's the last housekeeping thing before we kind of dive in. Let me see. And I'm going to give you everything in one spot as well, so it's easy for you guys to find. So one big fire. Oh, no. That's already it. Oh, I know. So I was on a run the other day and I was trying to think like some of the stuff I wanted to share with you guys. And I had this thought. I had a mentor tell me, I was meeting with him about 6 years ago before I got into the real estate business. And he's a super successful multifamily guy, actually out of Albuquerque. And he has a third, fourth, fifth home up here. Anyways, he was talking about how he got into real estate and then how he got into multifamily, and how he, basically, and he started talking about the compound effect. And he said that if you double a penny every single day, on the 28th day, it'll be worth 1,132 or something like that. Right. And then I was thinking about, how long does it take for a chicken to hatch an egg? Right. And it takes probably, or not probably, it takes 21 days, 21 to 19 days. And then I was thinking about how long does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. And I'm just joking. I wasn't thinking about that. So, but basically I was thinking about, okay, this compound effect of, and I mean, it does take 21 days to create a new habit. It takes 21 days to realize where all the lights are in a house when you're, we just built a spec house and like, I haven't been in it that much, but every time I'm in there, I'm like, where are the lights? And it's the same thing when you're like, a lot of times being realtors, you think builders would put the lights in the right spot, or right where we think the right spot is, but then all of a sudden they're not. So it takes it takes time to create that habit. Anytime you're in a new house, it takes 21 days to remember where the light switch is when it's dark. So my thought was, I know we're into the new year. We're what is it, the fifth? Some of you guys are on pace with your goals. Some of you guys have already dropped off. Some of you guys are like, don't set goals because you don't want to let yourself down. I mean, there's all these different pieces, right? But what if there was just one thing that you could focus on that would make everything else significantly easier? And what if that one thing you doubled the amount of effort that you put towards it every day, right? Like, what would happen if you doubled the effort? Because effort is the energy to overcome resistance. And so I think if you guys could really nail in, and it could be like, okay, I'm doing all these little things that build up to this big thing, but what is the one thing, that one goal? If you have one big thing that you're working on, that would make everything else significantly easier. And what if you doubled the effort or built a system that week that would support that one thing? So I think a lot of times we try to do too many things. And a lot of us are on this call because we're running the cash cow, right? We're running this system. And so it's like, how do we, my goal for at least the first 6 weeks of this is to build out the acquisition process of the cash cow so that for the rest of the year, you have a system that just runs for you as you run these ads, right? And anybody with any type of database, this is just building to that $1 million database. And so what we're going to go over today is basically running the survey to your database. And so the survey to your database, why do you do it? Like, or what is it? It's a very simple survey. It's pre-built. I'm actually going to put it into your guys' accounts after this call, and it's very easy to implement. I'm going to demo it live here so you guys can see how easy it is to run. And we're going to run it on Tara's account. But basically, I had a gal named Judy who ran this survey, right? And she didn't even run it all the way right. She ran it. So if you're not like partnered with us and you don't have access to Attract ROI, you could still run the survey and you could still have success because that's what Judy did before she decided to partner with us. Basically, she ran a survey. She maybe knew 50 people out of the 500 people that were in her database. Like the database was from, she was on different teams. She was on all these different places. And what happened was that she decided to partner with us. So she moved everybody over and she didn't know everybody in her database. She maybe knew, like I said, 50. And she ran the survey and she ran it on SurveyMonkey and she got 4 listings from it and it cost her $0. And so anytime that someone's looking to partner with us, I always encourage them to look at running the survey because the survey is also how I close people on the phone, right? If you've seen the video of me closing a cash cow lead from in somebody else's account, because they didn't call their leads and I just called them, but I called and all I do is question based selling. That's it. And it works every single time. And a survey is just a form of that. And so even if you're like, okay, I don't have the systems to set up for a survey, I don't even have money to pay for SurveyMonkey, Kyle. Like, what do I do? There's an answer for everybody, and it's calling your top 100, right? Alex Hermosi says you should do 100 calls a day, 100 DMs until you can spend $100 a day, right? And so that's just one simple thing. What would happen if you built a system where you called your top 100 once a month and you just did the Ford method: family, occupation, recreation, dreams? Like, hey, how's your family? How's the kids' soccer? Awesome. How's work? Great. What are you doing for fun? Are you going skiing this winter? Like, where are you going on vacation? What's the dream? What's your goals this year? Right. I think even this time of year, asking like, hey, what are your goals? What are some of the big things that you want to help get like accomplished? If you ask questions, you're number one, you're going to be in control of the conversation. Number two, they're going to feel obligated to ask you. Like they're going to get maybe a little bit uncomfortable and be like, well, how are you doing? Like, I've been doing all the talking. Like, how are you? Right. And like, oh, I'm good. And how's business? They'll start asking you how business is, how they'll just follow the pattern and they don't even know what pattern they were set up on. And so that's just one simple thing that you could do to survey your database is just call your top 100. It's very, very simple. If you have 8,000 people in your database or even thousands of people in your database and you just want to call your top 100 and run the survey to everybody else, I strongly encourage you to do it. I think you're going to have success with it 100%. So and the questions that we ask, just so you know, is like, do you know anyone looking to make a move in the next 6 to 12 months? Have you considered investing in real estate? Do you know how much your home is worth? And if I had a cash offer for your house, market value, would you take it? Right. So those are all just simple 4 questions. The survey that we built out is pretty slick because it'll send it 3 different times until they respond. But it's kind of spread out over 10 to 15 days. So it's not like you're spamming them and you're just like hoping, how many times do you get an email that you just look at and you're like, oh, I want to get back to that. But then you get another one, you're like, oh yeah, let me answer that. Right. So it's not, if there's value there, one thing that you do to have a better open rate, a better answer rate would be adding ice cream or coffee. Like, hey, everybody who fills this out gets $5 to Cold Stone, gets $5 to Starbucks. All of that stuff is going to make your response rate better. So I'm just kind of giving you guys a high picture view of what that looks like. And so the first thing that you have to do to be able to run the survey is you have to be, well, not everybody, but a lot of you guys have to be able to add your database to attract ROI. And I get the question all the time, like, well, what about my, my Lofty or my KV Core or my all of the different things that it's like, hey, let me explain this. Like, attract ROI does like 90% of the marketing for you. And all that Lofty does, KV Core, all the different ones out there, like all they do is they're connected to IDX. And so you're just setting people up on searches. That's it. And that's a really simple thing. Like once you create a process for that, you should be able to go to your VA and say, hey, go ahead and set us up on go ahead and set John and Susie up on a 3-bedroom, 2-bath search. They're looking in this area around 700,000. Just go ahead and set them up on a search. And once you create that process of how they can do that, now they can go and you don't have to, that is not a good use of your time setting somebody up on a search, right? It is a good use for you to be able to, like, it has to be done, but it's not the most valuable like time spent, right? It has to be done right. Should you check if it's done right? Absolutely. But is that the best use of your time? No. So do it 5 times, create a video around it, and then be able to pass it off to somebody else that can do that for you. I'm big on the book. There's a book called, I have it right here, actually. And this isn't like an endorsement, but Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell is an amazing book. And he's run several very successful, all kinds of different types of companies. And I think a lot of people don't understand, one, the value of their time, right? Like your time is the most valuable asset that you have, whether you're a billionaire or you got negative dollars in the bank account. Like it's like your time, like you can't get it back. The time you have with your kids, the time you have with your spouse, the time like that's valuable time. So, the way that you leverage your time, like we got to figure out different levers that we could pull, right? You can't call your entire database. So sending a survey is a lever, right? That is a lever that contacts your database, that adds value to your database. It lets them know that you're there. And so the reason why we're doing it now, because it's a great time. They just sat down with all their friends, their families over the holidays. And so they may have heard of somebody who's looking to make a move in the next 6 to 12 months, right? So that's a great question to ask. Let me dive into this. Okay. And the why, I kind of answered the why you do this. Why it costs you $0 to do it, unless you throw in $5 for everybody that fills it out. So that's one. Two, it's a way to add value to your database, right? Because if you say, hey, if I have a cash offer for your house, hey, are you interested in investing in real estate? Maybe they are interested in investing in real estate, and you have deals. I mean, you're coming across deals all the time as being in real estate, and so you can pass those deals off to people and you're building an investor list. So there's so many different reasons why you run the survey quarterly, not just once a year, but this is one of the best times to run it. So let me share my screen and pull up this account. You guys are going to get this into your account. I'm going to show you what it is. Hold on just a second. I'm going to show you what it is, and then I'm going to push it into everybody's account. It's called a snapshot. So you guys are going to get all these different pieces in it. You just have to customize it. The best thing about this is that you guys can jump into office hours at any time you get stuck in this and get unstuck, right? Because Jimmy's actually the one who built this for us recently. Me and Jimmy were in Denver doing a 2-day event, and we were talking about what are some of the ways that we can help, agents in our community have success. And I was like, I think running a survey is like super easy and really effective. And honestly, it's how, like, question-based selling is how I sell anyways. And so it just makes natural sense to run it. At the end, I'll share like the 4 questions that I ask when I'm closing like a cold lead as well, just over the phone. I think internally we've been talking a lot about how do we coach our agents to be able to close deals over the phone? Like, how do we teach it? Like, because everybody says like they can close deals over the phone until it comes time to close deals over the phone, and then they don't. And so every agent is like, give me the lead and I'll close it. And it's like, no, you won't. And maybe you will, but how do you go from a 40% to an 80%? How do you go from 80% to a 97%? Like, how do you, instead of having to make 100 calls a day, what happens if you just made 10 and 9 of them were successful, right? Okay. So this is the survey that's going to get pushed into your account. It's called Shake the Trees. So I'm in Tara's account right here. She's our expansion partner out of Albuquerque. She's a boss, and I think she's going to Cabo, right? Is she still on here, Tara? Or did she jump? She's on here.
That's my favorite event.
It's your favorite event. Let's go. All right. Uh, cool. Okay, so you got your drip modes. This is basically, and you can change this, but this is going to drop 10 emails every 15 minutes. So we don't bog down your email. The worst thing you can do is have a new sending domain email, which you kind of set up within Attract ROI, and then all of a sudden send 1,000 emails in a day because you are so excited about your newsletter, and then all of a sudden all your stuff starts showing up into spam. So you have to build your sending domain. And this isn't stuff that you learn in real estate school, right? This is stuff I've learned this the hard way. I've gotten put in like spam folders and I'm like, this sucks. Like, why did that happen? Right. So you definitely want to do that. One of the tools that you can use outside of our systems to be able to enhance your sendings, if you're going to really get like, maybe you really want to go into like cold email marketing and stuff like that, that platform is called Instantly AI. I think it's not super cheap, but you could use it for maybe a couple months to warm up your domain, sending domain. But if you just do it the right way, it's fine. But if you're like, hey, I want to move fast and I don't have time to wait and I just need this done, like some of you guys are like that, then Instantly AI is a good platform for you. But I would say like 85% of you on this call probably don't need that. You can just slow and steady wins the race. Okay. Okay. Email. So email one, it sends them. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this out a little bit. Tara, what email do you want me to send it from? You want to throw it in the chat real quick? Bam, bam, bam.
Change my name from Hard Earned to Diaz.
Oh, my bad. Did you throw it in the chat? Did I see it?
What did I send it? Oh, I sent it to, I didn't send it to everybody. I sent it to Nicole.
Well, Nicole wanted your email. Nicole, I saw your as far as no, I need your email, not just your name. And then as far as like your as far as what Loom is, great question. So Loom is a $20 platform that you can use to create SOPs and basically be able to create a process. Very nice, Ian. Good to see you, brother. I need my focus. Okay, cool. All right. So bam. And just for those of you who jumped in, we're setting up our survey. Like the survey, basically, I had a girl named Judy. Most of you guys heard this, but there's a few people who just jumped in. So uh, a survey is a $0 cost marketing spend to be able to get business. I had a girl named Judy. She ran it to 500 people. She maybe knew 50 of them and she got 4 listings from it. So it's a great thing to do. All right. So my focus is you. All right. So basically, all of it is already built out for you. You just have to update a few things. And you want to make sure that you press save along the way. And this is, I'm going to record this video. I'm going to go semi-slow. There's also a course that you guys are going to get access to that'll walk you through even slower on this. Or you can reference this, right? Cool. Bam. And this is the second email, right? Hey, with so many changes happening across the country, real estate market, please see the survey. It will take less than 30 seconds. Thank you so much in advance. Tara, do you want to set up the ice cream or anything like that, or you want to make that decision later?
Whatever you recommend.
Well, I'm going to recommend to do the ice cream, but do you want me to add that? Just a PS for those who fill it out. You get $5 to Cold Stone. Sure. Now, you may think that I don't have, if I got 1,000-person database, Kyle, what happens if 500 people fill it out? Well, the good news is that you're definitely going to get some business because even if you close 1%, that'd be awesome. The good news about this is that you can change the ice cream, right? This is just be like, hey, actually, you're going to want to go to whatever local business and you're going to let them know like, hey, I'm running a survey to my database. I put it on events for my community. And I'm surveying them, seeing if any of them are buying their house. I do want to offer some type of incentive. Would you guys be open to throwing in, $250, $500, depending on how big your list is, to people who fill it out? They're like, oh yeah, it's a tax write-off. Boom, right? So they'll give you $250 to get people coming in the door, to give $5 to bring their whole family to ice cream, right? So it's a marketing tool for them. And you're building a relationship, right? So next time that you do an open house and it's summertime or it's the end of the school year, you can do an ice cream social and invite them. And everybody's already spent $5 there. It's just good community stuff, right? So there's just so many different levers that you can pull. And so it's not your money, right? Next week, we're actually going to be talking about, well, I'll share at the end, but so we'll just say PS.
And you just get a free ice cream instead of $5.
Because ice creams are usually more than $5. I mean, Up to you.
Can you support somebody local? I like doing that because then you build a relationship
Yeah,
and they'll let
100%.
you do
So
marketing and they'll let you use their space.
yeah, so you could say those who fill this out get $5 to ice cream. I was trying to use kind of like a name brand just to be generic, but and some people like, oh, I trust my Starbucks, right? Like if you're from the Northwest, you probably trust Starbucks. If you're from Colorado, you're more like the microbreweries, the micro coffee type stuff. But it's really, I agree, Nicole. You probably should use somewhere that's local, just to build that relationship.
Can you change that 2 to 4? Never mind. Those who fill this out get $5 for ice cream.
Thank you.
Oh,
Cool. I don't have my grammar. I need to turn my Grammarly back on. All right. And bam, bam. And once you put your email and stuff, it should self like do it all. Okay, cool. So, okay, so that is done. So if you want to change up any of the wording, you can. I mean, this is wording that Jimmy and our team built. So I think, and Jimmy's actually on this call. So I think anybody who, you can change up the wording. We just know what works. Same with the survey questions. We know what works. And so you're welcome to change it up. I've had questions in the past of like, what if you have a higher end clientele? Like, will they fill this out? Everybody loves ice cream, number one, right? So they'll fill it out. I mean, I had uh, a couple high net worth individuals who syndicate like big multifamily and RV parks and stuff, and they've filled it out, right? So you're going to be surprised with some of the people who fill it out, and you're going to be surprised with some of the people who don't fill it out. It's just part of it. So
The only thing I'll say, Kyle, is listen, people can change it if they want to. All I will say is these are the words that Michael Reese used that year where he listed 368 homes, and he wrote the book on ISAs based on some of this.
copy. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Good good reference for sure. So love it. Cool. All right. So this is and just to explain this so like we're gonna drop it in here. They're gonna get the email. They're gonna get, if they don't respond within 24 hours, they'll get a second email, and then it'll wait another 24 hours and then send a third. If you want to spread it out and you wanted to change some of this, you can. I don't know if you need to, but you can. Um, but yeah, so all right, so that part's done. I want to make sure there's a few things that you'll need to do. So if we go to sites, your sites is going to we're going to have to do a little bit of editing here, or like you're going to have to throw some simple stuff in here, and we can wait to send if you want to clean it up a little bit. But instead of expert advisor, Tara, if you could throw in your logo real quick to the chat, I'll go ahead and add it for you. And we should be good here.
My assistant's on. Tyrese, do you have it?
Yeah, I do.
Tyrese, what's up?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, my man. Cool. All right. Let's see.
All right. So you want me to send that in Zoom chat because I'm not seeing where I can send media.
Yeah, if you just throw it in the chat, it should be good. Pop, pop. All right. And so you want to keep it super simple. You don't want to be super complicated with like the landing page of it. Like the whole point is just to get them to fill it out. And the reason why I'm doing this in real time, guys, is because I think it's really easy for you guys to realize like how easy it is for you to do this, right? Like a lot of times we get bogged down with like, well, can I actually do this? The answer is yes, you can. Bam. And if you want to like, and the cool thing is too is like I said, if you get stuck with any of this along the way, we can help you get unstuck. So local home ownership survey.
Did you stop sharing your others?
Oh, I did. Sorry. Thank you. All right. Okay. Bam. Okay. So both of these are in here. You have her little, you got the logo updated, the save button. We're going to go ahead and publish it. So you want to save after every time you do something. It's just like a good practice to save. And then as far as sending domain, do we want to use taradias.myhomechat.com or taradias@advicemessenger.com?
I don't know. I've never used either one of them, so I guess whatever. Probably advice.
Okay. We can change it as well. These are just the domains that are part of your account.
Yeah, I would say I'd like to change it.
Okay, cool. So it's really easy to do. So I would do, so you're going to have one for attraction and one for production as far as like domains. So we can talk about the attraction one on our call later today. But in regards to production, I know that you're looking to selling in San Diego as well. So you could potentially, the good thing about this is that I would probably be hyper focused. So it could be, and you can always have multiple domains. But maybe something like selling Albuquerque. I mean, just so you can go on GoDaddy and find whatever domain that you think is easy to remember. That's what I would use. So easy to remember, simple. I'm guessing like living in Albuquerque probably isn't there, but what's happening in Albuquerque might be around. What's happening in San Diego, living in San Diego probably isn't around, but what's happening could be. Trying to think. AlbuquerqueLifestyle.com, stuff like that. All right, cool. And that's just going to be like the main domain, and then we can always like change it, right? So we'll just have this one as for now, just as a reference. We'll edit this real quick. So this is the thank you page. All right, bam, boom, bam, boom, save, thank you. Okay, cool. So all those things are there. Publish. Okay. Cool. So now all we're going to do is take her data and we're going to drop it into the survey. So, or into the workflow. So the workflow is good. The landing page is good. All the questions are already there. And then I'm going to show you, like if we go to your sites. So anytime, so if you go to sites and then you click on survey and we go to builder or analyze or submissions, submissions is going to be where they submit it, right? So obviously no surveys have been submitted because you just started with us. So over time, you're going to be able to go back through and you're going to be able to read through the surveys, and your assistant or you can easily go through and say, hey, here's all the people who say they are looking to buy or they're looking to make a move in the next 6 to 12 months. Here's all the people who know somebody. Here's all the people who want a cash offer. Like you can segment it based on how they answer and then prioritize it. Even if they say no to everything, it's still a good point to at least reach out to them towards the end of however long it took you to go through their people and just say, hey, give them a quick call and just say, hey, thanks for filling out our survey, and just do that quick, touch point conversation thing. Here's the acquisition process. This is what the cash cow is. And honestly, this is any acquisition process. So if you're running TikTok leads, YouTube leads, Instagram, Facebook, like it does not matter, just database, like this all works together. And this is all part of the system. But where I see a lot of people drop the ball within our community is that they only do one or two of the things, right? They don't do all of them. And they all are needed by land, by air, by sea to help convert these leads. If you knew that, I mean, your database is like your success with your database is elastic to your communication with it. And if you had a pixel set up and you had your retargeting ads and you had 8 different pieces of ad copy and your people in your community were seeing that, if all Tara's 8,000 people were seeing her every time they opened up the phone, like that's how basically becoming that celebrity agent. You're becoming omnipresent. They cannot help but think about you when they see different value, different offers just sold, all of those things, right? When they get your survey once a quarter, when your top 100 gets your phone call, when they watch some of your YouTube videos and get into that playlist, right? When they get your newsletter that's so good, people like would be willing to pay for it. When they get a secondary offer, when you talk to one of your lenders and they're able to buy down the rate and you can send an offer to your entire database saying, hey, if you're considering buying right now, my lender's willing to buy down a point, right? So all of these pieces working together. And so that's what I really want. So next week, we're actually going to be going over, which isn't on here, but I think it should be, is the vendor program. And it's one thing to say, hey, oh yeah, I have a vendor program, but it's another thing to be like, yeah, I actually get $3,000 from my vendors every month. And if you're spending $500 on your marketing, like what would happen if you spent 3,500? What if you were just able to double it and spend an extra 1,000? So we're going to go over like the tactical pieces of how to actually get vendors and make sure that you're clearly articulating the value and how to leverage some of our community and some of our testimonies to be able to get vendors. So I think that could really, and the beautiful thing right now is most of businesses have already made their budget for Q1 are already, so I'm not saying we're late to the game, but maybe you should have done this back in December and November. But businesses always have money for things that have value, right? And if you remember the quote that I read at the beginning, which I should just memorize it, but see if I can find it. Money is nothing more or less than a result of creating value in the lives of other people, right? So money is not an issue. It's just a matter of creating the value and continuing to do that over and over. So before I take questions really quickly, what do you say to these people after they fill out your survey? What I would say to them is, hey, thanks for filling out our survey. And then I would just, based on the questions they filled out, like, what made you say you knew someone making a move in the next 6 to 12 months? They'll probably say, well, I know someone making a move. You could just say, tell me. I love that phrase. Tell me more. That's one of the things, why did you want to jump on this call? Like that's, what made you fill out our survey, right? Like all those little questions are really helpful, but it's all question based. So they fill it out hey, I saw that you filled out, you were looking to make a move in the next 6 to 12 months. Like, what are you, why are you making a move in the next 6 to 12 months? And they'll tell you. Or, hey, someone looking to make a move? Great. I would, just talk to them about that person. Use the Ford in the conversation and then just go back to question-based selling. And so those questions that I like to ask is the same as the survey questions, and you're building rapport. I think at one point on this training, I'll probably teach the entire process of that and how to close like listings over the phone on Zoom. I think that's a valuable thing in today's world, especially when business is crazy. And I think it's to that point. I know it's to that point. I've closed deals over the phone with Zoom. Sellers, not just buyers. So that would be another time. But all right, let me see. So yeah, you just ask them questions about the questions they filled out. Like you just curious. That's it. Like you just want to be the most curious about them. And when you're the most curious about somebody else, they'll eventually be curious about you, right? And then you layer in and anytime they have an objection, write it down, right? Because then you can handle objections later on. And there may be even a simple like thank you video that Jimmy, that we teach people to have like a mini 3-minute VSL at the end of the thank you page. Like, hey, thanks for filling out the survey. Here's why most people fill out our survey. And then you kind of go into some of the things real quick. I might be a little bit nice of a touch and remove some of the objections because some of the objections that they may have is, oh, I'm not looking to make a move and for 6 to 8 months, or I need to find a house, or I need to, so and so is not doing good with their health. So we may, we're considering making a move, right? So it's like all of those things are all easy pieces to start to write down objections, and then you can start to handle those in your marketing. So before they ever get on the call with you, those objections have already been handled, or you already know what to say to them because you've already got the answer to it. So those are just some simple things. So as you hear the objections from people, write those objections down so that next time you can snap off a simple rebuttal. All right, cool. What questions do you guys have? I'm gonna give you guys my show notes, which isn't much, but it's basically the links that I was talking about at the beginning. So access to all the EXP tools, the Slack community, if you're not a part of that, just to get quick answers, the BA coaching kind of goodies that we started off with, and then the One Big Fire coming up in March. And then the one thing that you're definitely going to want to make sure that you do look at on here that I did put in here is you're adding the Loom to add your database, right? I think a lot of people get stuck there. So that's the very bottom is add contacts. I'll highlight it before I drop it in the chat because I'm always surprised like how many people have been a part of our community, but they haven't added their database to attract ROI yet. So, all right. And then by the end of today, you guys will have this recording. You guys will also have last week's recording if you missed last week's. And then you will also have the snapshot for the survey in your account, and you can follow the course within Digital President to get it set up. Okay. Or you can reference this video, but it's really 3 simple steps, like making sure your landing page is set up properly, which is basically swapping out logos, and then making sure the automation is what you want in it. But it's all really simple. Yeah. I know. Yeah, Sherry, I know you're getting started with you'll get the account. And so once your account's set up, we'll definitely push it into your account. I think it may be almost set up, but yeah, Jimmy's got you on orientation. Cool. Yeah. Get it, Nicole. Love it. Awesome. All right. Any questions, guys?
You've been very thorough. Thank you very much.
Cool. Any questions? Nada? All right. Hopefully it wasn't boring. It was a little bit tactical, but I think like if you put this on your calendar, like, hey, I'm gonna get this done like this week. I'm excited to see some of the results from it. And like I said, Michael used this that year. He did 300 and some deals, so 363 deals. So strongly, highly suggest doing this. And let's go. Keep crushing it, guys. Appreciate you. Adios.